Every war comes at a cost. And although Caesar boasted his triumphs of the Gallic Wars, little did he know he had sown the seeds of his own demise. Back in Rome, Caesar's political rivals grew increasingly wary of his power and popularity. They feared that he might use his military achievements and loyal army to dominate Roman politics, potentially undermining the traditional republican institutions. In 49 BCE, Rome stood on the brink of cataclysmic change as a bitter feud between two of its most powerful men erupted into all-out war. Julius Caesar, the charismatic general and champion of the common people, against Pompey the Great, revered for his military prowess and ties to the aristocratic elite. The seeds of conflict had been sown years earlier, rooted in the deepening divide between the popularis and the optimates factions within the Senate. Caesar's meteoric rise and controversial consulship had drawn the ire of the conservative Senate, who aligned with Pompey to curb his influence. With tensions mounting, Caesar's refusal to disband his loyal legions at the Senate's command ignited a spark that would engulf the Republic in flames. As Caesar marched from Gaul towards Rome, the stage was set for a clash that would not only decide the fate of these two giants, but would also test the very foundations of Roman governance and pave the way for the rise of an empire. Imagine the cold January of 49 BCE, where the fate of Rome hung on a single decision at the banks of the Rubicon River. Julius Caesar stood with his loyal legions on one side, facing south towards Rome. On the other side lay Italy, guarded not just by geographical boundaries, but by centuries of Roman tradition and law. Caesar stood at the Rubicon with a choice: submit to Pompey's authority and risk losing everything he had fought for, or cross the river with his army and ignite a civil war that would tear Rome apart. The Rubicon, a small stream but a colossal symbol, represented the point of no return. Legally, crossing it meant rebellion and treason. Yet for Caesar and his men, it symbolized defiance and determination. As the winter winds whipped across the water, Caesar pondered his options. Reports say he hesitated briefly, contemplating the weight of his decision. Behind him, his legions waited in tense anticipation, their loyalty to their commander forged through years of hardship, triumphs, and shared glory. Among them stood the renowned Legio XIII Gemina, known for their unwavering discipline and fierce loyalty, veterans of countless battles across Gaul under Caesar's command. The 10th Legion, Legio X Equestris, stood shoulder to shoulder with them, their shields emblazoned with the symbols of victory earned alongside Caesar in distant lands. These soldiers were not merely men under arms, they were brothers in arms, bound to Caesar by bonds of camaraderie and respect. They had marched through the icy rivers of Gaul, scaled the formidable walls of Alesia, and basked in the spoils of war brought by Caesar's strategic brilliance. But it was more than just loyalty born of battlefield success that propelled Caesar's legions forward. It was a deep-rooted belief in their commander, a man who led from the front, who shared their risks and their rewards, and who knew each of them by name. His charisma was not born of eloquence alone, but of genuine care for those who followed him into battle. Then, in a moment that would echo through history, Caesar made his decision. He gave the order. As Caesar made his decision to cross the Rubicon, his soldiers knew where their allegiance lay. Behind them, the die was cast, a phrase coined by later historians to capture the irreversible nature of Caesar's decision. The Rubicon, a modest river under normal circumstances, was swollen with winter rains. Its current swift was unpredictable. Caesar's engineers hastily assessed the best crossing points, while his soldiers, battle-hardened veterans of countless campaigns, waited impatiently. To cross swiftly and efficiently, Caesar needed makeshift bridges constructed and fords secured. The Romans were masters of engineering, But the urgency of the moment demanded speed without sacrificing stability. Caesar's engineers directed the construction, their every move scrutinized by the impatient eyes of the legionaries, who knew that every moment spent on the wrong side of the river could spell disaster. The weather, too, was a relentless adversary. Winter's chill gnawed on their bones, turning the ground beneath their feet into a quagmire of mud and muck. Wagons, laden with supplies, struggled to traverse the treacherous terrain, their wheels sinking deep into the earth with every step forward. Caesar's supply lines stretched back to Gaul, where loyal allies awaited news of his progress. The success of his campaign depended not just on a victory in battle, but on the ability to sustain his legions with food, weapons, and reinforcements. Yet despite these challenges, Caesar's resolve never wavered. He moved among his men, his presence a beacon of determination and confidence. As the first bridge spanned the Rubicon and the legionaries began their march across, Caesar knew that each step brought them closer to Rome and to the decisive conflict that would shape the fate of an empire. With hearts set on Rome, and with Caesar at their head, the legions crossed the Rubicon, leaving behind the safety of Gaul and embarking on a path that would lead to civil war. When news of Caesar's daring crossing of the Rubicon reached Rome, it spread like wildfire through the marble halls and bustling markets. Pompey, standing amidst his advisors and senators, felt the weight of Caesar's defiance. The Rubicon, that once tranquil river marking the boundary between Gaul and Italy, now echoed with the thunderous hooves of Caesar's advancing legions. With the Senate in disarray and Rome vulnerable, Pompey faced a critical decision. He chose not to confront Caesar head-on in the heart of the Republic. Instead, he made the strategic move to retreat eastward, where he could rally support from loyal provinces and muster reinforcements. This decision, though criticized by some as a retreat, was Pompey's bid to gather strength and regroup for the looming clash with his former ally turned adversary. As Caesar marched triumphantly into Rome, Pompey's absence spoke volumes. The city, once a bastion of stability, now lay at the mercy of Caesar's political prowess and military might. Pompey's retreat was not a surrender, but a tactical maneuver to buy time and build a force capable of challenging Caesar's ascendancy. The stage was set for a clash of titans, each vying for control of an empire that teetered on the brink of civil war. Pompey, the seasoned general with years of triumph and alliances behind him, now faced his greatest challenge yet: to outmaneuver the brilliant strategist who had dared to cross the Rubicon and change the course of history forever. If you happen to enjoy this kind of content, consider subscribing for future uploads. And if you want to know what happened before Caesar crossed the Rubicon, check out this video on the screen right now.